Are you tired of playing all these online games you've been playing for the past years? Do you want something more remarkable, or do you want to get a little bit distance from the repetitive titles? If yes, then this video is for you. Hi, how are you ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kyo and I will be your host throughout this video. Today, I will suggest 7 single-player titles that are story and gameplay-wise awesome for people who have been playing online games for a long time and feel a bit tired of them. By the way, all these titles are single-player offline titles and are based on self-experience, because I myself was catching a lot of online games for the past years like Dota 2 or Destiny 2, and it turned out that I wasn't really enjoying them anymore. So I started getting suggestions for offline titles from my friends, and some of them actually turned out to be the best titles I've ever played. Anyway, let's get into the video, and remember to subscribe or leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Hades is the first title on this list, and it's one of the most demanding yet most exciting titles on this list as well. This game, at least in my skill rate, is pretty challenging and gives out Dark Souls vibe at some points. And that is what makes it enjoyable. The game itself is about son of Hades, Zagreus, who lives in Underworld, where his father is the ultimate emperor. But as soon as he realizes that his father's words on who his real mother is, Zagreus becomes curious and he sets on an adventure, meeting new people, leveling up in various ways, such as using Nyx's mirror to acquiring runes from random people, to getting help from the other famous Greek gods such as Zeus, Athena, Ares, or even Aphrodite to find her mother. But of course, many things get in his way, such as his own dad Hades, who wants him to forget about his mother, or different demons and mobs and bosses. Overall, the game is a must-play for people who like action roguelike hack and slashes. Beside all these, there is a relationship mechanism implemented into this game that offers many dialogue to everyone in the game and even allows you to ruin some people like Dusa, Thanatos, or even your ex Megara. The game also has good ratings, such as a 4.8 from 5 on Google and a 93 from 100 out of Metacritic. Moving on, we have the Life is Strange Remastered Edition. Before I start explaining, let me ask you something. Have you ever experienced that feeling when you turn off your PC or console and you're like, man, I need to change my game style? Whether you're playing an action game like COD or even a sports game like FIFA, after a while you will need to change the class. And that's where the Life is Strange comes in, because this game is just different. Of all games, it's a third-person dialogue-choosing story-rich game that requires you to not only judge and decide important decisions, it also makes you addicted to its gameplay, because it's like a movie with relatable and fascinating characters. Besides, even the smallest of your actions will have consequences and outcomes that will shock you. You won't believe or fully understand how crazy this game sometimes gets without actually playing it. One thing you should do is to grab the game right now. By the way, it is recommended to play Life is Strange Remastered first and then Before the Storm in terms of order. This game also has a 70 from Metacritic and a 98 from 100 among the people who use Google. One of the games I always wanted to play when I was a child and I never had the chance is Mirror's Edge. Like, do you remember playing Dying Light for the first time and finding the parkour the most exciting part? But what about a game that entirely focuses on parkour and running, huh? Well, about 1 month ago, I finally got a grip and got the first game, the Mirror's Edge 1, and only 1 week later, I found myself wanting more, so I also bought the second installment of the series, Mirror's Edge The Catalyst. And let me tell you, this was one of the few times that I found myself proud with EA's work. Because as you might know, EA has a knack for disappointing fans, but this time, I actually felt that EA did an excellent job on this game, because all the issues that I had from the first title were completely fixed, and I realized that maybe for the first time in the history, EA actually cared for the fans and released a great game. Overall, this game definitely has more parkour moves that you can even imagine. Now let me tell you something, if you guys want to grab the game, you might as well want to go to the second version straight up. But that's a personal choice because the stories are not related at all, but some people just want to go step by step, which is totally recommended. I just mentioned it because the first title is a little bit old. At last, in terms of score, the first game got a 81 from 100 out of Metacritic, which back in times was a awesome rate, and the second title got a 74 out of 100. Moving on, the next title goes to the Ghost Runner. Simply put, this is a first-person action game that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity lives in the vast Tower City. You will be a Ghost Runner, a highly skilled cyber ninja with unique abilities and weapons. The game's fast-paced gameplay will make it a popular choice for gamers who enjoy intense combat. The Project Hell DLC is also an exciting addition to the Ghost Runner universe. It introduces new enemies, levels, and challenges for players to conquer. The DLC occurs after the main game events, where you must survive in a new environment filled with dangers and enemies. The new enemies are more demanding and threatening than ever, requiring us players to use all our skills and wits to defeat them. While playing this game, you will easily catch the astonishing visuals and graphics. The graphics are incredibly detailed and immersive, creating a believable and engaging world where players can lose themselves. The sound design is also top-notch with crisp and realistic sound effects that help to bring the game to life. Overall, Ghost Runner and the Project Hell DLC are must-play games for any fan of action and adventure games. With its fast-paced gameplay, challenging levels, and astonishing graphics, this game will keep you amused for hours. And in terms of score, this game got a 9 out of 10 from Steam and a 82 from Metacritic and a 8 from 10 from IGN. One of the best and most challenging FPS games that I recently played gotta be Atomic Hearts. This title may have been released lately and many of you have already played it, but for those who haven't played, I'm gonna share a little bit of my experience. To start off, this game takes place in a Soviet Union era where a KGB agent is sent to investigate a secret facility, and that's where the game takes place. Because turns out that that facility has faced a little bit of problem, so you as the player should solve them. And these problems are not just puzzles and mysteries. In every single corner of this game lurks whether a robotic creature or a mutant or a weird looking monster. One of the other things worth mentioning in this game is how enemies are. You see, in most of the games, enemies have some sort of pattern they always follow. Even the hardest bosses will become predictable after a while. But like it or not, that's not true for Atomic Hearts, because the producers decided to implement some sort of AI to the game that makes enemies 99% unpredictable, that makes them pretty hard to beat. And winning against them most likely depends in players' flexibility. At last, in terms of scores, Steam users gave this title a 9 out of 10 and Metacritic users gave a 74 out of 100. If I wanted to sort this video by how underrated the games are, Titanfall would easily take the first place. This game belongs to when EA was still a user-friendly and reliable game-making company. But as for Titanfall 2 itself, the game is simply a first-person shooter that was released back in 2016 and follows a storyline behind an ordinary rifleman named Jack Cooper, who accidentally becomes owner of a Titan that previously belonged to his former general, and these two will become best friends through the story of the game. Not to mention how godlike this game's online and multiplayer side was. Another thing worth mentioning is the graphics and the immersiveness of the environment. Whether you're on a battlefield and hearing gunshots or just in nature with trees and birds, it feels so satisfying that to this day I still remember it detailed. Also, the game has a wide range of guns for you and your Titan that there's a chance you finish the game without even seeing one of them, and they all feel incredibly fun to use. Overall, I believe Titanfall 2 is a total must play for anyone, and it's also an absolute shame that this game didn't receive the love it deserved. And lastly, in terms of a score, it got a 9 from 10 out of IGN, and a 9 from 10 out of Steam, and a 98% from Google users. The last place goes to the Homefront Revolution. This game is the perfect game for people who like Far Cry games, because the story and the environment, if not better, are almost identical to Far Cry games. I mean, first-person shooter open world about Revolution. One other thing about this masterpiece is how well made the environments are and how the graphics are, because I remember throughout my first playthrough, there were times that I would just stay at one place and stare at the game's textures and just appreciate how well designed they are. Also, the combat and demanding gameplay will guarantee you unforgettable memories of this game. As for the story, this game takes place in Philadelphia in the year 2029, 4 years after the North Korea has successfully taken over United States, and you, a resistance soldier named Brady, will have to sabotage North Korean bases and destroy the resources chain and fight KPA in every way possible. Also, the story characters are also implemented as best as possible, because at some point of the game, it feels like you are really in the middle of the war and you feel responsible for your friends. By the way, did you guys realize how the story and environment resembles Far Cry? Anyway, in terms of a score, this game got a 54 from 100 out of Metacritic and a 6 out of Steam. But you can't judge a game by the other people's opinions, right? And that's for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Until next time, take care and have a good day.